All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're just putting our last technical aspects to the service together. So I don't know if we're up, but you're here, and I appreciate you all being here. But we're not live, from what I can tell, because people are texting me, when are you going to go live? Shabbat Shalom. If you can't tell, I'm physically back from Hawaii. But mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I'm still on an island somewhere. I got my, it's 4 o'clock. It's almost time for a Mai Tai. This is what I wore last Friday night, and this is what I wore the Friday before that. And so I'm glad you asked. I got my lava bracelet. I got my little turtle necklace. I got on the resorts. You don't have to lose your key. You can just wear your. And I'm just not taking it off because I'm in denial. Howard, how are you? Are we? I'm just killing time until somebody tells me otherwise. Nope, we're not ready. Okay. The live feed though, I know you're bouncing, but the live feed on, or that's two different things, Danny. I just got a text. Yes. What does that mean? Yes means, tell me if it goes up. Yes. Yes, it's up? What does that mean? Okay. And then what else do I have? I got the shirt, I got the necklace, I got the beads, I got my pineapple socks. It's got a sunburn. I won't show you that. Thought I'd take care of that for you. So I've been in a perpetual state of rest for the last 2 weeks. You're starting your rest tonight. That's Shabbat rest. That is the purpose of Shabbat, of taking an opportunity. I would think that when you're on an island where there are no seasons, it's just 75 degrees all the time. I could tell, because I called the Maui synagogue and I said, "Do you need a rabbi?" I just wanted to know if they needed one. But thought maybe we could partner as a synagogue. Like I could do sharing. There's one in Honolulu. Okay, well I didn't go to Honolulu. I was in the Big Island, and I was in Oahu. No, not Oahu. Maui. Sorry, I was in Maui and Kona. And it's something interesting. You need the seasons. You need seasons. The Jewish holidays are built on seasons. And I don't know if I can complain, but if it's always 75 degrees, like, it's weird. I don't want to complain, but like that was interesting. So tonight, as we give Cantor Noah a chance to rejuvenate, and we're going to use the power of technology in a way we've never had. This is an interesting result of COVID and technology, and having TVs and having recordings, and we're going to make the attempt to have Cantor Noah join us on the TV screen, because you don't want me to sing. That would be bad. That would be bad. You would like nullify the contract. You'd be like, nope, no. So that's if the technology. This is a first shot at this. So we think it'll work. In concept, it'll work. We haven't actually executed it yet. We are waiting for files to bounce and for things to work in such a way. So we should kibitz. Yes, we should kibitz and talk and draw it out a little bit longer, apparently, I'm told. But on a serious note, there are only Keith is the only one who's here for the first time. Howard, is your friend for the first time? Nina? Hi, Nina. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Keith, right? Keith, it's not your first time here because you've been here, but it's the first time in a while. So it's your first time in a while. You guys were here the Friday I left, right? Remind me the names. What's the names again? You remember your names. Good job. Steve and Julie. Excellent. And everybody can We'll take a moment now and turn to somebody around you and wish them Shabbat Shalom and say hello, introduce yourself. Shabbat Shalom. Bye. So are we all besties now? We're all best friends? Good. We're besties? Good stuff. I did want you to know that on the flight over, my wife and I got into a debate about whether it's called Hawaii or Hawaii. And when we got there, we went to the synagogue and we asked, is it pronounced Hawaii or Hawaii? And he said, it's Hawaii. We said, see, I'm right. He said, thank you. And he said, you're welcome. I could do this all night, but I'm just waiting for the service to start. Oh, wait, I'm in charge of starting the service. Okay. All right. So I don't know if we have a video, but we're going to light our You know what? We don't get a chance to check out. In the prayer book, in the beginning, before, or I should say after, but in the beginning, I always like to find that iyun, or the reading that puts us into the mood of, what's it called? Kavanah, the right word for putting us into that mood of Shabbat. And there are a lot of introduction pages. Hold on, I can't find it. Here it comes. It's almost there. There it is. Where'd it go? Is it really on page 2? They moved it? Page 2. There it is. You're right. It's page 2. All right. I'm going to light the candles for us. Oh, there it is. On page 8. We can read this in the singular, although collectively we pray together. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. Indeed, getting out of the city, if we call Phoenix a city, but it's the 5th largest city, but getting out of and going to an island, taking the kids, this was a trip that we planned before COVID as a sort of post-B'nai Mitzvah trip for my boys who, as you know, one became Bar Mitzvah a couple weeks ago and the other one during COVID. So this was a dream that we had set up for a long time and planned for. And what I didn't, there was intentionality, but at the same time, there's only so much you can plan for, just being in the moment. And for those who haven't been, or those who have been to Hawaii, you can imagine being on an island in the middle of the Pacific, in the middle of nowhere, the stars of just stop for a second. These kids, my kids have just not seen. Yes, you could go up North Arizona and see it, but the stars and the God's glory of creation and the ocean and the flowers, and we took in the botanical gardens on Kona, and just some really incredible things that as we read this prayer, things that we need to see and be reminded of, these miracles. So let's let's try this. I'm going to light the candles on page 2, and I'm going to invite Cantor Noah to sing the prayer. Let's see if this works. This is the part where you press play. Oh, that's cool.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. That's just plain cool. That is for those that recall, just remember how we got here. We, COVID, and then there was that first High Holy Days where we all had to figure out a way to be together, and we had to pre-record the whole service, and that was an interesting experience, I'm sure for you as well. And then just out of that came so many ideas. Well, now that we've done this, this is the first time we're doing this back and forth like this that I can remember, and I don't know. I just thought it was really cool that we've made lemonade with the lemons that we were given. So speaking of making the best of it, let's continue with Shabbat and the singing and including the Cantor's music. I think it's on page 13. Cantor, is it on page 13? That would be funny if I scripted it like that, wouldn't it? Shiru Ladonai. Curious, how many people have been to Hawaii and seen? I don't want to talk about it. Talking. Thank you. I'm just curious because it's such an experience that I didn't know if I was like, just sharing what you already know or something new. I was just, the music reminds me of that it's Erev Shabbat, and Shabbat is, the sun is setting. And one of the cool things that I thought about when I was there for the last 2 weeks, I was always on the west side of the island. On both islands, we're on the west side, so we're always looking at the sunset. And one of the cool things, I don't know if you noticed it, is that people all went to the beach, or even if we were driving to dinner, because we kind of, let's say, wouldn't say got bored of the sunset, but you would just driving down the sort of boardwalk, and like people would just walk out and they'd go stand on the beach. And I don't know, they look like locals, they don't look like a lot of tourists, and just take it in for 5 minutes, and then go right back to what they were doing. That is really cool. So is this part of the service, is that sort of moments of Shir Adonai and Shalom Aleichem and Lecha Dodi. This music is sort of that standing on the beach, if you will, watching the sun go down, knowing that Shabbat is about to begin as that sun sets, and we feel the beauty of Shabbat coming. So we'll continue with Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
So I know I've mentioned in the past how at Lecha Dodi on page 21, 20, for those who've been to Israel, in the city of Safat, the mystical city of Safat, where this poem, Lecha Dodi, was written, they would actually go outside the city and into the fields, where they would sing Lecha Dodi, welcoming Shabbat, looking towards the Mediterranean, looking towards the sunset there, actually. And here, we're thinking about, or at least I'm still thinking about the sunset of Hawaii. But clearly nature and the feeling of God's creation is a big part of being human and appreciating all that's around us. So page 20, L'chadodi, we will be like the mystics who will imagine Shabbat entering. The mystics would wear white, just like the bride, and they would greet Shabbat as if she were coming in to our lives, into the sacred relationship. So, L'chadodi, page 20.
לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה 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 לה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה 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 לה. לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה 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 לה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת וליתי לה 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 לה. לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה 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 לה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לה 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 לה. לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה 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 לה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לה 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 לה. לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה 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 לה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה. We rise to welcome Shabbat the Queen. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה 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 לה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה 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 לה. לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבל לה.
We actually continue with our call to prayer on page 28 as we remain standing. And just confirm before we press play, Danny, that this, they're breaks. Does that mean they're different files? Like we go Baruch Hu right into Shema. Is that'll work? What does that mean? I don't know if it's hand signals. What? Baruch Hu goes right into Shema? Does anyone know what that means? We're just going to figure it out. Page 28. Here we go.
Lie, 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 la la את אדוני המבורך
We remain standing. Page 34. Yep, other doors are open.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated as we turn the page 36, and continue with the cantor on the V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohim Emet. So one of the joys that we took advantage of being in this special place. The only time I'd ever been was into Hawaii was for our honeymoon, and this was nearly 20 years later, and we got to take our 4 children and really tried to make the most out of the experiences. I really got to witness my 2 boys bond because they got room together, and I could just see them. They really had no choice but to only talk to each other, I guess. And so I watched them bond, and my 9-year-old really out of her comfort zone, keeping up with the boys, doing the fun stuff, when snorkeling or trying to keep up with their brothers. My youngest, she would have been perfectly fine in the pool outside our house, so I didn't need to really take her to the pool over there, but that's okay. We had a point where I was going with it. So on Maui, and I'm sure on all the islands, but on Maui specifically, we took the helicopter tour. For some people, they've saw it. They're stalking me on Facebook. I posted pictures there. That's fine. But there's most of the island you can only be seen by helicopters. Not physically able to get back there into the valleys in the the big deep part of the mountains where the 2,000 feet waterfalls are, and thick brush, and just the magic of it all. They call it at one point the wall of tears, because the land is so soaked from the 400 inches of rain that they get, that the water is just pouring out the side of the walls and making waterfalls. So I intro all of this to simply remind us, as I do almost every Friday, that on page 40, the Micha Mocha is a reminder that the miracle which this particular prayer was referencing, which is the miracle of the crossing of the Red Sea, was really meant to be a metaphor for all the miracles that continue to happen in our own lives today. We don't have to get up into a helicopter and get taken out of our comfort zone or a place that isn't where we're in front of us, but it does help sometimes to see some of the miracles. But miracles are happening every day and around us. We just have to be willing to see them and take a look. As Steve pointed out when he did that trip, or Arlene and Steve did that trip, that you get a recording of that helicopter ride so you can remember some of the miracles that a lot of people don't get to see. And so I will go back and revisit some of the pictures and video of the most remarkable piece of land and creation. Micha Mocha, page 40. We continue on page 42 with our evening prayer of peace, the Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamitenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamitenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamitenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmot zetenu uvoenu
Vishamru is on page 44.
Take a deep breath. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם.
All right, for those that didn't participate, you're going to have to stay after. And with the video, you and the video are going to have detention. So let's continue on page 46 with our tefillahs. We ask you to please rise.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, מחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום ילוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We go ahead and please be seated as we turn on page 55. Let's find the words at the top of page 55 and we can pray together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We take a moment now. We pause from the prayers in the book. We turn to the prayers of the hearts. We take a moment of personal meditation, personal reflection, a silent personal prayer. The words of Yehilah Ratzon are on page 62. In our prayer book, we have on page 62 at the top, let's offer this final prayer, what's called the Elohai Nitzur. Let's offer it together in English. My God, guard my speech from evil and my lips from deception. Before those who slander me, I will hold my tongue. I will practice humility. Open my heart to your Torah, that I may pursue your mitzvot. As for all who think evil of me, cancel their designs and frustrate their schemes. Act for your own sake, for the sake of your power, for the sake of your holiness, for the sake of your Torah, so that your loved ones may be rescued, save with your power, and answer me.
והגיון ליבי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you, oh my rock, my rock, and my Redeemer.
We have Mishberach queued up, I hope, I think, maybe, yes. We, no, wait, no, hold on, press pause. I was just asking if it was queued up. We're going to gather any names, anyone that you're thinking of that could use that extra prayer of healing and wholeness, someone that you're thinking of that may be feeling broken physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that could use that extra prayer of shlema, of healing and wholeness. So I open it up if you wish to share a name with us out loud or in your hearts. So with their names and thinking about the strength of the prayer of Mishaberach, we invite the cancer to offer this prayer on our behalf. We're together.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
I mean, obviously not as great as when Cantor's with us, but that's pretty cool to give her Friday night off and still be together. So tonight, in our weekly reading of the Torah, we turn to a fascinating story about an Israelite named Korach. Korach was perhaps Moses' greatest challenger and adversary. He was a member of the same tribe and thus the same family, and he felt entitled to a greater leadership role. He was, let's call it an accomplished rebel rouser. He tried to face down Moses' leadership to advance his own position. And to do so, he gathered some around him, those who also desired to usurp Moses' power by denying the authenticity of his prophetic calling, Moses' prophetic calling. This attempted power grab led to a number of interesting divine intercessions where God reaffirms God's choice of Moses as the leader. And in one of those events or episodes, Moses' adversaries and their families, including Korach and his family, are called together, they're gathered. When Moses calls forth a miracle and has them, and I'm not making this up, straight out of the book, gobbled up or swallowed up by the earth. Now, I don't know if this is a rabbi joke, but it's particularly timely and funny to me that just last week I was visiting a live and erupting volcano in Hawaii. I posted a picture of this and some video of the lava and the open earth, and one of my colleagues posts below the picture, "Be careful you don't run into Korach." Rabbi jokes? So what does the story of Korach fighting with Moses teach us today? The first thing that I think of is the polarizing political discussions happening in our country. It has become more common in the midst of an argument between people that instead of attacking the other's idea, we are beginning to attack their character. And suddenly the argument gets personal. Now, I don't, if ever, talk about politics from the pulpit, but I do follow politics. I am, after all, a human being. And there was a time that reasonable people could argue about the major issues that we all maybe have opinions about: immigration, the economy, the environment, abortion, critical race theory, dozens of other issues. And they could disagree. I don't know if you remember a time when we used to disagree. But they would listen, and they would respect the other person's opinion. And there was a time when people on the opposite side of the political spectrum were actually friends. Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember that Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Justice Scalia were actually very close personal friends, and yet they represented a passionate liberal, and he was a passionate conservative, and they disagreed on almost everything, but they respected each other's humanity. I know I'm not the only one who thinks that this has been lost today. The tendency to demonize those on the other side of the political spectrum from ourselves. If someone disagrees with someone politically, I watch them be malevolent. They believe that they are out to destroy our country. I think I see this on both sides, guilty of the name calling. If we see our political opponent as intent on evil, then the argument on its merit unravels. Now it's just a personal attack between two people. The issues are forgotten, and all that's left is the name calling. Interestingly, and as it's related to this week's Torah portion, the rabbis in the Mishnah and the Talmud, in talking about this Torah portion, claim there are actually two kinds of arguments. The first one is the argument for the sake of heaven, and the other is an argument that's not for the sake of heaven. And they argue, well, which one, which is argue, right? They argue about the argument, right? They argue, well, the one that's for the sake of heaven, that's the argument that's going to endure. The one that's not an argument for the sake of heaven, that won't endure. And they say, how do they know? And they said, well, we know about Hillel and Shammai, and they were constantly in conflict. Good word. And what is the controversy for the sake of heaven? They argue Korach. Korach, who made the personal attack on Moses, that was an argument that was not for the sake of heaven. So he challenged Moses' authority on numerous points, trying to make personal attacks. For example, it says in the Mishnah, he took a four-cornered garment entirely out of blue and he wore it, asking whether it was the fringes in the corner that needed the blue or if the whole thing could be blue. You ever know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen the some talitot have a blue line in it? And so Korach was trying to call out Moses. Of course, these are the rabbis putting words in their mouths, but the argument is this worthy of an argument? Are we really debating whether the whole talit is blue or if just the line in the talis is blue? Korach yells at him. He says, the laws that you're saying, they're ridiculous. One thread of blue is kosher if it's in the talis, but if the whole thing's blue, that's not kosher. Korach was not challenging him on the law. He was having an ulterior motive. He felt that he should be the leader, and he wanted to attack his authority, and he looked for an argument that was in the perception of a power play. And these are the arguments that we watch on TV, arguments that we see when they do the, what do they call them, the dirty ads, the going attack ads, when they get not about the issues, but they get into the person. The goal, it appears to be not to solve the serious problems facing our country, but to demonize and to destroy the other. Reasonable people can disagree, and they can argue passionately, just like Shammai and Hillel did. But when the arguments were over, their families, actually Hillel and Shammai's families, married into each other. They disagreed, but they were able to respect one another. So I think that I love a good argument as just as much as the next person, but a good argument begins with and ends with the respect of the humanity of the other. And so this Shabbat, may this week's Torah portion remind us that we can disagree on all kinds of things without being disagreeable to the other. Can you hear Ratzon? May this be God's will as we say, Amen. So it occurs to me that as we move deeper into the summer, and there will be a variety of creative Shabbatot or of different Friday nights, that especially with you who are here, who enjoy being together, I would like to pose an idea, not a challenge, an idea that next week, the cantor and I recorded a Shabbat that we're going to play on Friday nights so that it won't be in person, but it'll look like we're here, but it actually is not. I wonder if part of the goal is to be together, is to be here with me or the cantor or both, like it has been the last few weeks. If maybe you want to have a Shabbat dinner together, and then you could watch the Shabbat service together. And then you're not alone. You can maybe watch services together, accomplishing the same thing. And then when services are over, you can have a cookie or a piece of Costco cake in honor of service tonight. But I think it's kind of cool that, especially for those that are here that do like being together, that just because we took a Shabbat to continue to rejuvenate with our families, that it doesn't mean that you can't continue to find new ways of being together in person and watching Shabbat. How complicated is it to watch Shabbat next Friday? Here it is. In your weekly email, it'll say at 7 o'clock, click services here. Push that button, and at 7 o'clock, there'll be nothing there, nothing there. And then at 7 o'clock, the video will pop up. So just keep refreshing your screen, and at 7 o'clock, it'll go live. And no matter where you are, even if you come in at 7:30, you can still press play from the beginning and catch up. So, and by the way, I don't know, a lot of people don't realize that if, let's say, you were busy on a Friday night and you missed it, but you wanted to cut, you could always, throughout the weekend, watch. It's at the same website that you're going to go to next week. All the past Friday nights are there. You can always go back, or if you missed or you're late or whatever, they're all on the templecolony.org/live website, which is ironic because they're not live. Even though it's there now because it's live, but never mind. You get my point. It's a YouTube video that's on our live page. That's right. Thank you for that. So tonight, grab each other's cell phone number or something and have a Shabbat dinner together next week. Find someone, and so you don't have to be alone. And then, something else I was thinking of. Book club. Book club is not next week, but the week after, July 6th. I'm sorry? July 4th is important too, but not for the book club. Right, July 6th. That's a Thursday. So talk to Rosa or Judy and tell you the book. But it'll be in the weekly email next Tuesday, next Friday, and I don't know if we'll have an email on July 4th. Probably put it out on Monday. Anyway, let's wrap up our service. We're going to ask the cantor to take us through Aleinu, and then I'll take us through Kaddish. So please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We remain standing as we think of those who we have lost in recent days, or those we've lost in the last 30 days, observing a shloshim, or those who we've lost at this season in years past, observing a yard site. So if you wish to share a name of a loved one, I invite you to do so, and you can share the name out loud or in your heart. On page 294, we recite Kaddish Tom. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divrach Yotev Lamich Machutei B'chayechon V'yomechon Uvchay Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Almei Maya Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Ramam V'yit Naseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei kudasha b'rechu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam levracha, may their names and memories continue to be for a blessing as we say amen. So we make the kiddush over the wine, which hopefully the cantor will help us with.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
Chaim indeed. So we make the challah. You knew I was going to do this, didn't you? The camera's on me, right? You knew I was going to do that. Come on. Who didn't see that one coming? The Maui Gold, straight from Maui. If you have not had, oh my God, you can just smell it. If you have not had, this is fresh, picked just a few days ago. It is, I learned a lot when I did the pineapple farm tour. Turns out that for those who have not done the Maui pineapple tour, they're not gold. They're spray painted that way. It has become so influential that for those that do the emojis, they're gold with green stems. They actually have to put this on after the fact. That's not how they come out of the ground. They have to make it do that. If you rip off, you can take the leaves off, and if you when you rip this off the top, you can put this in a pot of sand, and it will grow another pineapple. It does take, you know what? Good things come to those who wait. I bought a carton. I had it shipped straight from the farm. I gave one to every one of the staff members and one for each one. I'm just kidding. But for you, I had Maria cut up Maui Gold for us in our oneg tonight so you can get a taste. Their motto is extra sweet. They add a little flavor in when they in the soil that makes it. They actually intend to make it a little more. So you can. There's just something unique and special. And for those that want to make a significant gift to the annual fund, I will give you this one. If kind of not kidding, I have one extra. So that's the pineapple thing. But so there really was motzi. I just thought it'd be funny. I thought it'd be funny to have a pineapple pop out. So here we go. Let's make motzi. I think she's doing it right. Is she doing it or am I doing it? Oh, look at me. I'm doing it. Let's all do it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Is she doing the closing song? She is. Okay, Cantor Noah, take it home.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. שבת שלום.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Enjoy the Maui pineapple and the oneg. There's one cut open, fresh tonight, so enjoy.